has in store for the coming week. All right, so without further ado, let's get right into the charts and see what exactly is that we should be expecting from the markets this week. All right, we're going to be starting with Australian dollar, with the index for Australian dollar, which is the AXY. All right, and as you can see, this is AXY on the daily time frame. So far, we've had quite a clean market reaction. All right, but we also see that we've broken structure a couple of times and grabbed liquidity into that other block. So we can see, or we can understand why price is coming back up. All right. Nonetheless, we can also see that price has broken structure around that zone. All right, price has broken structure around this point. Okay, which means that we should be expecting a bearish continuation. All right, and what that simply implies, all right, in my own understanding, is that we should see a movement similar to this. All right, we should be seeing some degree of weakness in the Australian dollar for this week. All right, we should be seeing some weakness in Australian dollar for this week, owing to the fact that, as you can see, AXY is already very close to that other block. So possibly by Monday or Tuesday, we should be seeing that play out. All right, we should see that play out. Okay, I'm documenting this at the moment. Please hold on. All right, so the next one we'll take a look at is the pound index, all right, the DXY. And as you can see, so far on the DXY, we've had price react from this other block on the daily time frame. And my expectation is that price comes into this zone, all right? Reason being that, as you can see, the overall structure here is bearish and has been broken. If you check this on the weekly time frame, you probably get to understand that bias a little bit better. All right, so we've seen this low, we've seen this high, we've seen this lower low. All right, so we should be expecting a lower high somewhere around here. All right, somewhere around here. So we're expecting DXY to still go probably a little bit bullish. All right. And then we can talk about possibly something like this, all right, something along that line. But so far on the daily time frame, the expectation is that DXY is a bit bullish, at least for a little while. Okay. Oh, sorry, I'm responding to someone in the chat box at the moment. All right, so for DXY, we're expecting a bit of a bullish movement, all right, a little bit towards this other block or into this other block, all right, and then we can start talking about a bearish movement. All right, so DXY will see a bit of a bullish upthrust. All right, we're still going to go into the charts to confirm some of these things. All right, next we want to look at CXY, which is the index for the Canadian dollar. All right, which is the index for the Canadian dollar, and as we can all see, let me delete this. We can see that price has broken structure. If you look at this on the weekly time frame, you see that price has broken structure. All right, we've tested into this other block, haven't grabbed liquidity from all of these areas. All right, so we're expecting price to push higher. All right, we're expecting price to push much higher. All right, before we can begin to anticipate a possible movement lower. So for me, CXY is still quite bullish. All right, it's still quite bullish on the daily time frames. All right, so we should see some days of bullish reaction or bullish price action on the Canadian dollar. All right, up next, we want to look into DXY. All right, and as you can see, this is DXY on the daily time frame. All right, and in my opinion, DXY is still very bearish, all right, or at least quite bearish. And the expectation is that price comes into this other block before we see a possible reaction. All right, because as you can see, we just price just broke lower. All right, price just broke lower based on, you know, that overall price action. All right, and then we'll most likely, worst case scenario, all right, we'll see a reaction into this zone and then a drop lower, because these blue lines are actually areas of are actually pivot zones on the daily time frame. All right, so we should see the dollar get a lot weaker. All right, so that's for the dollar. All right, that's for the dollar. We should see it get weaker over the next couple of days. All right, according to this analysis. Next, we want to look at EXY, which is the Euro index. All right, EXY is the Euro index, and as you can see, we're very, very close already to a major resistance zone. All right, if you check on the weekly, you see that the price action is still very bearish. All right, so we're expecting to see, you know, price enter into that other block, and then most likely drop lower. All right. So for me, the EXY, which is pounds, all right, we should see some bearish reaction on the pounds shortly. All right. So overall for this week, we're seeing a bit of a bearish momentum on EXY. All right, but that's partial, because we might also, price could also as well come into this other block. All right, so either of these other blocks. So we'll see a bit of a bullish, a little bit of a bullish reaction before that bearish reaction. All right. So that's for the commodity indices. All right. So basically, first thing we want to take a look at is to compare USD card. All right. Let's see that if we are bullish on card and bearish on dollar, all right, it means that we should be seeing a bullish reaction very, very soon on USD card. All right, this has been my trade on USD card from last week. All right, but based on what we're looking at for this week, it's safe to assume, or it's safe to expect that you know, after this liquidity grab, all right, after that liquidity grab, price most likely comes into this other block and starts to react higher. All right, and gives us a push back to the top. All right, most likely until we get this liquidity, until we tap into that other block. All right, which would be at the point where we capture all of this liquidity. All right, and then that would mean that we're expecting price to to do something along this line. All right, so what that means is that on the lower time frames, we can start looking for entry schematics around that other block. All right, as soon as liquidity is grabbed, all right, we can start checking for entry schematics around that zone, around that region. All right, yeah, somewhere around there would work perfectly well. All right, so if you're able to capture entry schematics around that region, I think it's safe to take that. All right, it will be safe to write that and follow through with it until you see confirmations of a reversal. All right, until you see confirmations of a reversal. The next one to take a look at is EURUSD. All right, this is EURUSD on the 4 hours time frame. Not many of us were able to catch this this trade. I personally was unable to, because I think that was the day I was unavailable due to some unforeseen circumstances. All right, so right now we're seeing EURUSD on the 1 hour time frame. And I think that this other block could be one to look out for, all right? Since we'll most likely take out liquidity from this area, all right, and most likely this area, seeing that this other block in that region, the other block in that region is not so strong. As you can see, the price action after that other block is quite frail, all right? It's quite frail, all right? So we'll most likely get to see, all right, something like this as the price action. All right, something like this is what we'll most likely get to see on the price action for EURUSD, all right? So let's see. The next one we want to take a look at is AUD card. All right, and according to our analysis, AUD card should be getting weaker. All right, and as you can see, I think price already tested into that other block, and I think we already have a bit of entry schematics on the lower time frame. All right, I think we already have that on the lower time frames. All right, so you can come to probably the 15 minutes. All right, you can come to the 15 minutes, wait for a break of structure around here. All right, and then a retest of the other block so that you can be able to take the trade. As you can see, I'm hoping personally that price breaks this other block, price takes liquidity here, all right, and then probably taps into this other block, all right, so that this move back up, all right, can be valid for an entry. Okay, so that move back up can be valid for an entry. All right, so that we can be able to validate our entry around that region, all right? So this is one thing to also look out for. All right, so let's take a look up, into GBPAUD. GBPAUD, is that it? GBPAUD, we might be seeing some bullish reaction very, very soon. All right, as you can see, I already have this other block marked, all right, because I'm expecting liquidity to at least be taken from somewhere around here. All right, I'm expecting liquidity to be pulled somewhere around here because the other block around that zone is not so strong, all right? It's not really so strong. So we should probably see a retest of that level, all right? So that we can see a shoot back to the top, all right? And what that means is that on the lower time frames, you should be looking out for possible selling opportunities. All right, you should be looking out for possible selling opportunities so that you can be able to take that ride all the way down, all right, all the way lower till we come into this region, and then we can check for new entries, all right. Next, want to look at GBP card. All right, based on our analysis, GBP card should be bearish, all right? And as you can see, I think this was a setup that I gave as at last week, Friday, all right? It played out perfectly as well. Just as expected, all right? However, right now, I think we have a bit of, interesting market reaction at the moment. All right, we've seen price, break below the microstructure there. All right, tap into this other block for a reaction. Okay, so we could see price come higher. All right. Possibly into that zone. All right. Okay, so this could be, this is a possible reaction that we should watch out for, all right? Because my expectation is that based on all the data that we have, we should be seeing price dipping lower on GBP card after having made a bit of a bullish, retracement. All right. Can we also look at, let's see GBPUSD. Oh, wow. Interesting. GBPUSD should be, we should see some bit of strength on GBPUSD. All right. This week. Let's see from the daily time frame. All right. So we'll most likely see price retest into that zone, into this support. Okay. And then we can hope for, or we can expect a bit of price action, or a bullish price action that will take us all the way back to the top. All right. So at the moment, however, all right, this seems to be what's going on at the moment. So hopefully, once we see a clearer movement, all right, once we see a clearer movement lower, we can get this retest and then something along this line, all right? So for me, GBPUSD, I would be more comfortable if price, breaks this zone, comes back for a retest, then takes out liquidity from this entire area. All right, before tapping into the other block. And then we can shoot higher. All right, so that would be my key zone to watch for entry. All right, let's take a look at gold. All right, so this is gold on the daily time, on the 1 hour time frame. All right, my expectation for gold last week was that gold was going to drop a bit from here. All right, and I think so far it's played out a little bit. All right, but based on the price action that I've seen so far, let's see from the daily time frame, and based on our expectation for a weaker dollar, all right, a weaker dollar would insinuate strength or bullish price action on gold. All right, so let's take a look at what gold looks like. I've seen the daily time frame. We may not get a reaction all the way back into that level. So what I'll be waiting for would be I would like to see what price does around this level. All right, this particular order block right here. All right, I would like to see how price reacts to that other block. Even though I'm expecting, you know, we might see liquidity get grabbed around that area, all right, and then eventual price getting into this overall other block, all right. All right, so that's my expectation, all right, either from here, all right, or from here, all right. Either of these two would be a good way to go, all right. But on the overall, I think my bias for gold has just changed, and I would be looking out more towards, you know, a bullish market movement, all right, most likely from somewhere around this other block, all right, this zone. I'm sure the VIP students or those who have gone through the course completely should be able to relate with the reason why, you know, why this is my bias, all right. They should be able to relate with why this is my bias, having seen what's going on here, all right. All right, so that's that about that. Worst case scenario, however, would be to test into this really strong other block on the 1 hour time frame, all right, because the impulse after that other block was just crazy, all right. So let's see how gold plays out in the next couple of days, but this is my personal overall bias on gold, all right, in the long term. All right, does anybody have any commodity they would like us to take a look at? If you want us to take a look at any commodity, please indicate in the comment section or in the chat box. Let me know what you like us to take a look at. All right, AUD-USD. Oh, that's true. NZD card is bearish. I think I did this analysis on Friday. It was shared with the VIP. All right, we saw a liquidity grab here, price tapped into this other block exactly. All right, and then my expectation is this drop. All right, since we already talked about card getting stronger. We already talked about card getting stronger. All right, so you can look out for opportunities for a bullish continuation. All right, you can look out for a bearish continuation rather. All right, possibly something along those lines. All right. All right, something along those lines. All right. So that's the expectation for NZD card. All right, NZD card. Let's see AUD-USD. All right, AUD-USD is at this really important other block on the daily time frame. I'm breaking it down to the 4 hours. All right, let's see the 1 hour. All right, so breaking it down to the 1 hour, we might see price struggle to push higher to somewhere around here. All right, before we can even talk about any possible drop. All right. So that's AUD-USD. There's a zone right here that I'm looking out for. Right, let's look at that on the 4 hours. I'm sure some of the VIP students or those who have taken the course, all right, not really VIP, just those who have gone through the course, they should be able to relate with what we're talking about here. All right, so price comes into this other block and then we can see, or we can hope for a drop to that other block around there. All right, so someone requested NAS 100. Right, on the daily time frame, this is what we have here. All right, this is on the 1 hour time frame. Let's see. This is on the 4 hours time frame, rather. All right, so basically, let's go back to the 4 hours time frame. All right, so based on all of this impulse that we've seen, all right, as you can see, that's a really, really strong impulse, all right. So there's a possibility, there's a real big possibility that there's a real big possibility that price does something along this line, all right? Which would mean that, price comes here, gives us this retracement, all right, so that it can gather the momentum required to push all the way back up. All right, so that would be my own bias on NAS 100, all right? Is that clear, please? All right, you're welcome. All right, can we take one last request? One last request. Does any other person have one commodity they would like us to take a look at? Oh, yeah, that's true. We took a look at NZD-USD in the group last week. That was as at Monday last week, and I gave us this bias that price would test into that other block before dropping lower. I think we lost track of that, all right, and we missed this amazing, amazing, amazing trading opportunity. All right. Nonetheless, I think there should still be opportunities to retake this trade, all right, to enter this trade once again, possibly from some of these zones or regions where, so basically, if we get something along this line, all right, if we get something along this line, then I think that means we should be good to go, all right. All right, we should be good to go in that regard, all right. Is this clear, please? NZD USD, can we all see that? One last request. Who else has a commodity they would like us to take a look at? Mr. Oboro Peter, it's good to see you. It's been a long time. It's been a very, very, very long time. Okay, let's take a look at that. All right, Mr. Peter, you're welcome. You're welcome. I got that. All right. Oh, beautiful. All right, so let's look at that right away. Yeah, exactly. It's good to see you. It's good to see you. All right. So let's quickly wrap up on that. Yeah, I'm aware. I'm aware. Sorry. I was quickly switching over my power supply. All right, this is Euro USD. All right. And I think as the last week we took a look at this, and I showed us this really, really big wedge. All right. Coupled with the fact that price was at around this pivot zone on the daily time frame. I think this is a daily pivot. Let's see. Yes, I think it's a daily pivot. All right. And one thing that I pointed out was the fact that we could see price, from this wedge, all right, we could see price drop a bit lower so that we have, this or something similar to this, all right. So we'll take our liquidity around that area, all right, and then come into this really massive other block, all right. So that's my personal bias for Euro USD, all right. I would like to see, majorly my area of focus would be somewhere around here, all right, because I would like to see market break structure first, all right, and then from there we can start talking about an entry, all right, the possibility of an entry from that region. All right, is that clear, please? Is that clear, everybody? Does anybody have any questions they would like to ask? All right, I believe that means we do not have any questions. Okay, so I want us to all pay close attention to all of this. All right, I want you to keep track of this, because for me personally, I might not be able to keep track of all of these setups, but please and please, I'd appreciate if we can all keep track of all of these setups together, such that whenever one of the setups begins to clear up and provide tangible entry opportunities, you can kindly update us in the group so that everybody can remain at alert, all right? And then we can all benefit from these setups all together. All right, so considering the fact that there are no other questions, and I believe that everyone has been satisfied so far tonight, I want to say a big thank you. God bless you for attending for attending yet another market review session with myself, the FX Templar. My name remains Adetola-Freeman, and I am really excited at the prospect of the new week. I wish you all a really profitable trading week, and I say from the bottom of my heart, God bless you. See you once again next week. Bye-bye.